Hyper Pro. Johannes just put Hyper Pro front and rear on his bike. Is it enough? He also has a new tire that is an 80/20 dirt bias tire and is much easier in this rut. Like, I got my feet up. I'm not in any way concerned. He still has a 50/50 tire on the rear. It's the IRC comparable to Dunlop's D605, but he crashed again today, so his shifter's not in the same spot as always. Yeah, this is such better suspension. The first time I rode his bike, I thought it wasn't that much better than mine. And now I do. Now it's significantly better. Just in usability. He's changed the gearing for torque, so it revs up quite a bit more. I would prefer the normal gearing, but I'm also a bit more used to playing with my clutch. So aim for the stuff. I forget what tire you put, Michelin something, but it is in the category, on the internet it would go under the barely legal category. I told him I'd open this video with, welcome back to crashing somebody else's bike. On that little cement slab back there, I can tell you, I can feel, just that little bit, I can feel that the front tire is not a road tire. I've ridden some Tenerés with Öhlins and with proper KYB upgrades. The Extreme's not in Japan. And I will tell you, obviously Tenere and a CRF 250 300L, these are very different bikes. But I can tell you, yeah, those would be better. Not that I'm going that fast, but I didn't feel comfortable going this speed on his bike before. It was just so squishy and unpredictable. But I will admit, his bike is, like, this is a big step up. I would say I'd make the argument that new springs and oil, at least in case of this bike and probably my Transalp, is at least a 50% upgrade. But that's like everything in life. You get that little bit more at the high end. Like, what's better? A Shinko 804, 805 or a Michelin Anarchy Wild? Well, in Japan, for the rear tire at least, I have to spend double to get the Anarchy Wild. Is it twice as good a tire? Surely not. But that last bit of performance is everything. Something's on my nose, tickling me. Throw it in gear, turn it off. That's a spider. How did I collect a spider on my face? All right. If I start swelling up in this video, spider. the shorter gearing is just on his gearing setup. The shorter gearing's better for low-speed technical stuff and low-end grunt. But once you start moving, I mean, I guess, yeah, just go through the gearbox more. I'd rather just feather the clutch through first gear and then have a wider spread. But that's 15 years of sport bikes and road bikes versus almost a year of dirt riding. So a lot of what I'm going to say out here is still, what do I know? And like a good friend, he told me it doesn't matter if I drop it because he seems to do it all the time. But he said, really test out the suspension in a very detailed try before you buy. Having friends is such a great luxury because I guarantee you, not that this is, and I did take the easy way down to get used to it, but not that this is so technical, but I don't imagine an OEM just giving me a bike or giving me something like this to test. And it hasn't become harsh. Like, it was soft, which makes low speed big bumps or high speed little bumps comfy, but this hasn't stiffened up to the point of harshness, and maybe that's the progressive springs that HyperPro is known for. Like, sitting down's not that big a deal. I think I'd rather be standing for some of these rocks, but I do understand how he's sitting so often when I'm standing. 1 part bike, 1 part suspension. And his bike's gotten a lot smoother since last time. I'm going just over 40 kilometers according to his dash. Last time, I barely got 20. Also, last time was like 4 months ago, and I'm a much better rider off-road. And I'm going downhill. It's much easier to go fast uphill. There's been a lot of snakes out today. Spring is here. It is April 19th, 2025. I've been really trying to convince myself it's worth going for premium suspension like Öhlins, because I can grow into it. But at least in the dirt, I can for sure tell you, as I'm now not on dirt, but I can for sure tell you, in the dirt, it's a significantly big upgrade where I think it is enough at my level. And in Japan, HyperPro is like a $300 US investment, whereas you're looking at $2,500 for Öhlins or $2,000 for YSS on the premium level. And I'm sure if YSS costs $300 more, it'd still be a reasonable investment. Alright, we're gonna look for a spot to turn around that I like. That's a ditch. It looks like just sticks and moss. It's actually a ditch. Just as a side note, even here, his bike's not that bad. Like, most riding in Japan is well under 100. Even if you're pushing your limits, the roads are just so tight and twisty. Like, going 100 in Japan can be a very big deal. So I hate riding his bike again thinking a well-tuned single is actually relatively smooth. I rode Triumph's 400 but didn't make a video. It was enough power for Japan, everything short of the highway. So am I just angrily thinking that maybe I should be on a DRZ again? I thought I'd catch the other end of the loop. I have not. Gosh, that front tire is just point and shoot. The rear tire takes its time side to side, checking the scenery. I don't need a face full of tree. Not even half a red line though, and the vibes really do start to come through compared to my bike. So a single is still a single. Yeah, I might have to buy some Hyper Pro. The Japanese CRF is still a 250. The rest of the world is a 300. And Japanese don't really upgrade this bike. It's all about the budget. So distributors of Hyper Pro in Japan don't carry this. He had to self-import and figure out which one to get. Apparently, if you are on the same bike, get the 300L suspension. A mix-up with Hyper Pro got him on the 250L, and there was some DIY that had to be done. But even with it being not the exact HyperPro for this bike, but for the previous 250L that the world saw as a 250L, the upgrade is significant, front and rear. I have no illusions of bottoming this bike out. It's a taller bike too. Like the HyperPro gave him, I think he measured it to say it was like 6 centimeters taller. And I believe him. I need to stop for a cramp. That'll do. It must be said that while riding his bike, if I crash now, like when I was on the Husqvarna, it feels like it's not that big a deal. Like I don't even think I'm gonna get hurt. On my bike, yeah, that'll hurt. See, I can just hit those edges. If you saw those rails back there, they're to stop landslides, if you're wondering. But I can just hit them. Here's the rocks. What do we got? What do we got? What you got? Still a cliff. What you got? Your rocks, rails. This is better. Yep. In stock form, this was not better than my bike off-road. HyperPro springs and oil. Yeah, it's better. The question you have to ask yourself, how much performance do you need? How much adjustability do you need? You can watch all the content on the internet you want. You can read everything from every forum and every strong opinion. But if you can get a test ride on something, and I'm getting a real test ride. I rode this stock, I'm riding it now. But I'm telling you, the real world test ride, all the jargon of it's this weight and this and that and blah, blah, blah. How does it feel? Nothing matters more. How does it feel? We are not racers. We are not performance fighters. How does it feel? It feels plenty acceptable. But I'll warn you, because I've done this, on my MT-07 I got a proper performance rear shock and did the HyperPro front. HyperPro was significantly better. I'm going to go to the turnaround up here. HyperPro was a significant upgrade in the front, but not as significant as the KYB in the rear. So, if you're gonna do anything, keep it even. Don't make an amazing rear shock with a budget front end. I think Brake Magazine Lem just did a review of my bike. He took out the Outback Motec Transalp, which had springs, oil, and some valving on the front, and a really good TFX rear shock with full adjustability. And he said it was much better, but he could feel the gap. Like he could tell that even though the front was better, it wasn't as good as the rear. So springs, oil, and then if you want to move up to valving in the future, then yeah, it might be worth doing valving, but just keep them both the same. You want something amazing in one direction, do it in both. But this is one of those test rides I hate doing because I'm almost wondering if I should sell my bike. But there's our champion, sponsor of the video. I only crashed 6 times. But all right, I'll see you later, guys. I don't know if this video is even going up. Bye-bye.